Good evening, sim racing fans across the globe, and as we get set to rock and roll here on a Sunday night, we welcome you to iRacing Live and LSRTV as we get set to conclude segment 1 for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series here on iRacing Live and LSRTV. 11 rounds down, and tonight the final round of the first segment, 12 of 12 here as we come to you from the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway, and bring you topside into booth. Jacob Seelman alongside Austin Coop with Cisco Scaramuza down in the production trailer as we know it's a stacked field in this series, and Austin qualifying underway. This has been the Ray Alfalla show in segment number 1. He locked up the championship 1 week ago, and now this is basically a victory lap for this first segment. He'd like to turn it into a victory lap by winning another race here tonight. I mean, with the batting average he's had so far, you can't bet against the man.
Yeah, and it sounds weird, but this guy has a 4-race winless streak, and that's a little odd for this season, or for this series at least. It, like as you said, it's been the Ray Alfalla show in a dominating fashion, but we have definitely seen some other racers and different characters show towards the front. We had Michael Connie win at Kansas, and Justin Fuller at Talladega, and a couple other guys like Adam Gilliland and Matt Busa, they got their wins as well, and these guys are starting to figure out some things from these really top-notch drivers. There's a lot of guys in here that are learning a whole lot from Ray Alfalla, and I think him being with these group of guys has made them better. And I think we'll see tonight that we're going to see probably another different winner. I think Ray Alfalla, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it tonight. His qualifying time so far is 9th on the board, 0.2 off most of the field and 0.3 off of the first place. But definitely this is a track that's tricky, and I think you got to stay up front in order to win this one.
I do agree with that. We've seen track position be so key here at Dover, and this is a very quirky racetrack, Austin. I want to talk about that in just a second. I also want to make it a point to mention, though, tonight, because it's the end of segment 1, we do have a payout. First, $150, dropped 25 down to second. I actually dropped $25 a position down through the top 5. 6th through 10th get $50 in iRacing credits, and 11th through 15th have their entry fee waived for the next segment. So there is a decent amount of not just pride, but material on the line here tonight. And it's going to make everybody, you would think, race a little bit harder. But that's tough to do at this racetrack because, as I mentioned, I like kind of the adjective quirky because it's concrete. It's a tough deal with the banking, and it's hard to find a good lane to race here.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we see it time and time. Every time we come to Dover, you're always curious about how these cars are going to take 2 and 4. You see that a lot of cars in practice. We saw a lot of cars get into the wall out of 4 and into the wall out of 2. It gets to you really quick, and once you get a little loose, it's hard to get back because you're still on a banking on the front and the back stretch. That's 9 degrees of banking on the front and back stretch. So definitely an interesting thing for everyone to see today. These guys are going to go up to 170 miles an hour on the front straightaway and down to at least 140 in the corners here, Jacob.
as we get set to kick it off tonight, and we'll give you a look at the starting lineup here in just a couple of moments. But before we do that, it's time to go trackside for tonight's national anthem. We'll honor America during the opening ceremonies.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We bring you back topside, and we thank Jaden Berkey for that rendition of our national anthem. And as we get set to rock and roll, surprisingly, only 14 drivers putting down qualifying times. And actually, it's kind of a short field tonight, Austin. So as we look through our LSRTV starting grid, it's going to be Matt Busa on the pole and league founder Brian Schoenberg on the outside of the front row. Those are your top two, but only 22 cars on this grid tonight. It's a talented field, but I'm a little surprised at that number.
Oh yeah, I am too. There's definitely an interesting thing happening. There's not very many guys here, as we have Trey Idison and Adam Benefiel running out the second row here.
Row number 3, Matthew Moose, Justin Fuller, who has a win on this segment, going to start from P6 in search of a second one tonight.
Adam Gilliland will start 7th with Jordy Lopez Jr. on his outside in 8th place.
Gonna go 9th tonight. The driver who we were talking about, 5-time winner this season, 2-time NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champ Ray Alfalla. Tyler Dalton rounds out the top 10.
EJ O'Rourke starts 11th, and Greg Spears is going to start 12th outside of him.
Matthew Chafe, 13th, last car to take time. Jesse Kovacs in the 17 is 14th tonight.
Chad Coleman starts 15th with Bentley Glazer to his outside and 16th.
17th, J.D. Laird. Doy Woods is 18th. John Gorlinski, Matthew Quick, Paul Fugate, John Wilco round out the field of 22 tonight. As we start the pace lap, Austin, what are your keys to going to victory lane here tonight?
Well, we see it every week. These guys just really have to stay out of trouble. I mean, they have a lot of laps. They got a lot of time to make their move, to show to everybody where they're going to go. And being respectful on the track can get you a long ways in the short track. You know, if you give a guy a break early and he's down a little bit later on in the run, he may let you go by. And it's just you got to really navigate your way around the traffic around here, and you can't let Miles the Monster bite you on the end of these corners.
Oh boy, that's going to be a storyline that we are talking about all night long, and we are very glad that you're with us, tuned in here tonight on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. And as we get set to roll, Jesse Kovacs will touch base with him, our 14th starter later tonight, as our in-race reporter. But right now, Matt Busa and Brian Schoenberg lead the field off turn number 4. American Ethanol green flag goes in the air. We are underway for the Monster Mile as we get set to roll towards turns 1 and 2. Busa on the jump, and Schoenberg falls in behind. Couple of scraps for position right now. Adam Gilliland and Ray Alfalla in the middle of the fray, 3 wide, back straight away.
He's going to back out of that one, and rightfully so. It's lap 1. We cannot be doing this necessarily. But yeah, he's got He's got Ray Outvalid who's outside currently, but on that restart we had a lot of guys really wiggly. That's on fresh tires, so that's something to think about later on in the race when we have restarts and gutsy calls into maybe new tires down the road. But yeah, that was a really interesting start to the races. We saw about half of the front 10 cars really get really wiggly as Boost is charging off away from the whole field.
Yeah, Matt Boost has already opened up a 5-car length advantage over Schoenberg. Trey Edson in the 1, riding in 3rd right now. I'm keeping an eye, though, on the 51 and the 27, Alfala and Justin Fuller, who I expect quickly to move their way through this field. Fuller had to start on the outside and lost some spots on that initial start. And Austin, you know, we saw in the actual Cup race earlier today, the outside was the place to be. However, in this race, with the way the bottom lane works here on the virtual Dover International Speedway, I think the bottom's the place to be on this restart because of how much control the leader actually has.
Yeah, and when you choose that lane, I think you're going to see most of the drivers, if not all of them, choose the inside when we do have restarts. Adam Gilliland's getting a little out of shape here in turns 1 and 2. He did that 2 laps in a row here, but as you're saying, we got a caution flag.
Big trouble. It started around the 17 of Jesse Kovacs and ended with about 6 cars all trashed in the corner, and Kovacs got way wide. It didn't start with him. It was the 19, actually, of Tyler Dalton that I think was the first car to get loose on the apron of the racetrack, but it ended with 4 or 5 cars junked in the middle of the corner, and that's going to bring out the first caution flag of the night very quickly on here at Dover. That was a couple of violent whacks, too.
Yeah, well, you see what happened is that the 19 car, he got a little loose going down the track, and he came back up, and he should not have done that. As you see, if he would have stayed down the track, none of the carnage would have happened. But maybe he didn't have control or didn't think that people were coming up quickly. But that just shows you how fast the closing rate is when you do slow down. And that was a high, or that wasn't a high, that was a very fast place on the track because you're accelerating almost fully there, trying to get a huge push into 2. So definitely a lot of days have ended quickly tonight, including Tyler Dalton, who did start that race. Jesse Kovacs, John Gorlinski, and J.D. Laird were all involved in that. And I think a couple of other people were involved as well.
Yeah, we'll try and get a full look here in just a couple of minutes as far as who all was involved. A couple of people making some, actually most of the field making early pit stops here as Matt Busa, it looks like, is going to pretty easily win the race off pit road. Trey Edson going to be credited with leading a lap under this caution period. Right now we are working lap number 7, so still a very long way to go in this 180 lap event. And for what it's worth, Austin, 180 laps at this place on the sim is not an easy task. This is a very physical racetrack. It's very tough, even on a sim racer, because if you get into a long stint, it'll wear you hurry.
Oh, completely, and especially if we get some longer green flag runs here, if we get a lot of cautions like this, which if we have a lot of cautions early, we won't have that many cautions later on, just because of how the damage model works with these cars. But the longer that these guys run, the harder it is going to be. If we have spread out cautions, it'll be like having a quarter break or something like that. But like NASCAR, like any other real racing and sometimes sim racing simulators, this can be hard to hold the wheel at about 45-degree angle basically the whole race, because you still have to turn it on the straightaways with the 9-degree banking on the front and back straightaway.
And as we roll through this caution period, I think we're going to go ahead and bring in the driver who was going to be our in-race reporter. And before we really even he ends up out of this one, Jesse Kovacs. Boy, we were ready to talk to you, and we were really excited about this night. And for you, it ends in a flurry of slams, bangs, and crashes. First off, I want to talk about the accident. What did you see, if anything?
Well, guys, I really didn't see too much. It was just kind of biding our time there, staying on the track and doing our best. And the looks like the 80 car just kind of maybe got into the car in front of him and shot straight up the track into the wall. I saw the 19 start to get loose there on the bottom and start to slide up. I figured I'd go around him on the high side, and it looks like we probably could have done that, but it looks like the 80 just came out of nowhere and pile drove us into the wall. So unfortunately, that ended our day very early.
I know you had a decent amount of involvement with this race tonight, Jesse, and we want to talk about that. Talk a little bit about your support of this race tonight, with it being the last race of Segment 1 and kind of you getting involved with this race.
Yeah, it's been an honor to be a part of the ASCORS series. It's been really fun to communicate with all these drivers and learn from them. This is by far the most competitive series I've ever been a part of.
We'll keep Jesse up here in the booth with us for just a minute, but as we work into turns number 3 and 4, getting ready to come back to the American Ethanol green flag, going to have 9 of 180 laps complete, and looks like going to be Adam Gilliland and Matt Busa lining up on the front row as the pace car eases back to the safety of pit road. Gilliland, the man on the jump, as we go back underneath the green flag here tonight, working lap number 10. And what we were talking about just a moment ago is with Jesse Kovacs, the fact that he's actually sponsoring this race tonight. How exactly did that come about, Jesse, between you and Brian and the folks at ASCORS to make this happen?
Well, it's been a lot of fun to, again, be a part of the series and, having my company here in New Jersey and Dover being a close track to New Jersey. I thought I'd support the league and get on board with sponsoring the race and also sponsoring Matt Busa. Kind of built a good relationship with him, and we've been talking on TeamSpeak, and he accepted the opportunity to put the Kovacs logo on his car tonight, and he's doing a great job here. He's out front, set fast time in qualifying, and he's my only hope left here in the race. So we're going to watch Matt. Hopefully he can get the job done tonight.
Well, let me tell you what, your driver is doing a whale of a job right now. He has led all but a couple of laps in this race early. Quick lap in practice, quick lap in qualifying, and P1 on the board isn't a bad way to start so far tonight. I know there's a long way to go, but Jesse, I know your night ended early, but thanks for taking the time to talk with us, and definitely on behalf of Brian and all the folks here at ASCORS, thank you for your support of this series, because it's definitely been fun to watch it grow here over the first 12 races of this season.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks LSRTV for covering this every Sunday night. It's great to be able to share you guys and our series and league with the public out on Facebook and everything else, and just an honor to be a part with you guys. So thanks for covering it so well, as you always do, and you guys should be in store for a good race here. This track was good for about a lap, these cars, and then we started slipping and sliding everywhere. So, but thanks for having me, and I'll just be a spectator for this one. But thanks again. Hope to see that 34 in victory lane.
That's Jesse Kovacs, sponsor of tonight's ProGeek Consulting, Kovacs 180 here at the Dover International Speedway. And as we continue to rock onwards, we're working lap number 15 right now. Matt Busa, as Jesse mentioned, still leading this race. Brian Schoenberg second, but Austin Coop, I'm telling you, the guy who has worked his way quietly through the field, Ray Alfalla, just keeps trucking along, 9th to 3rd in this early going and showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, but he does have a car to his inside. We'll see how that top side prevails. But he was one or two people I was really going to talk about. I was going to talk about how Adam Gilliland, he started first this time. He's going to lose 5th, I think, here to Adam Benefield. He took no tires on that round of pit stops. He stayed out, kept in position, and it didn't work so bad for him because he was outside of the top 10. But he's slowly going to realize how it's going to hurt him, because he's on the outside of Benefield and Moose, who are now going to. Moose is he's going to pass him right here out of 4, and he's going to relegate back to 7th. He lost 2 positions that lap, but as we're talking, Jordi Lopez he's quickly on the bumper of Ray Fowler too, or at least he was until Ray Fowler got by Brian Schoenberg, who's now in second.
That was a power pass right there on the 1 and 2 end of the racetrack for the Alfala Tech Ford Fusion, right to the number 2 position out in front of that Stars and Stripes ASCORS Special. For Brian Schoenberg in the 3rd position, Jordi Lopez, Adam Benefiel lurking back there in 4th and 5th, but Lopez putting some pressure now on the back deck lid of the number 55. Schoenberg, he may have started this series back for everybody else, but he has no friends out there right now working the top end of the racetrack, and he has got a lot of pressure coming back to the start-finish line from both Lopez and Benefiel. And I was watching Adam Benefiel last time by Austin. He was up in that 3rd lane for a moment trying to make something work.
Yeah, sometimes when you get to Dover, the track begins to change after a while, and it's not a bad idea to search your options like a dirt track, to go up high, to go to the middle, go to the low side. We see that all the time here, and if your competition, if you feel they're slow on one lane, and you go to a top zone, you feel you're equally as fast, you may be able to get an advantage, and I think that's what he's doing. He's changing his line just a little bit than Lopez, but Lopez, I think he's really a lot faster than Brian in front of him. He's just got to find a way to get by him here.
That's easier said than done, though, and the caution flag will wave for the 2nd time tonight.
Wilco.
Here with 21 laps complete.
Yeah, it looks like Wilco just lost it by himself here off of turn 2, which brings out the caution. Single car spin.
John Wilco in the 62, affectionately known to many in the sim racing community as Orange Crush. For that story, that's a story that would take an hour of this broadcast that we really don't need to spend, but we'll find some time. We'll find some story time at another point. The 62, though, does bring out our 2nd caution flag of the evening here, working lap number 22 now as Matt Busa leads the champ. Ray Alfala, Brian Schoenberg, Jordi Lopez, and Adam Benefiel in the top 5. We're going to step away for just a moment as the leaders come in for pit stops, and we'll reset the grid when we come back from Dover International Speedway. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back to iRacing Live and LSRTV coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series from Dover International Speedway. This broadcast brought to you by ProGeek Consulting LLC. Since 1998, ProGeek Consulting has been providing IT solutions to small and mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis and St. Paul metro area. Their strong work ethic and attention to detail allows them to provide the best solutions for your individual needs. They specialize in a wide range of solutions, including infrastructure, networking, servers, storage, security, virtual CIO, and IT strategy solutions. ProGeek Consulting, proud sponsor of the ASCORS Racing League and the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. As we continue on in the ProGeek Consulting Kovacs 180 here from the Monster Mile, Jacob Seelman and Austin Koop with you in the LSRTV broadcast booth. We're set for our second American Ethanol restart of the night with 25 of 180 laps complete. Ray Alfalla is your leader from Brian Schoenberg, Matt Busa, Jordy Lopez, and Matthew Moose up into the top 5 for the first time tonight as the pace car eases back onto pit road and we get set for this restart. Alfalla going to lead him off turn 4, waiting on the flag. Now, the American Ethanol green flag back in the air. We are back under racing conditions. Side by side for third, side by side for fifth. A squeeze from the top side by Jordy Lopez. He wants the spot, but it's going to be advantage Matt Busa for third down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he was starting the inside, but it looked like Jordy Lopez actually got a better start than him. But, Matt Busa, he was in the front, and he knows what clean air feels like, so expect him to really want to get up there as quick as he can. As we've seen, being out in the front really is where you want to be. We talked about it in the pre-race show, how, when you get out in the front, and you see all that clean air, and you're racing, really keeping everyone behind you, it's a lot easier. And typically that's not the case at most tracks. Typically it's a lot easier to chase somebody down. As we see a lot of guys going around the 55 of Brian Schoenberg, he's losing a lot of spots. I don't know if there's an issue or whether he's just caught out on the outside right here, but he's really losing some spots here.
Yeah, he is. On the other hand, though, the driver who is not losing anything but has gained 8 positions is the race leader who's pulling away. Alfalla by 5, make it 7 that time across the stripe over Matt Busa. The gap on the stopwatch is just over 0.4 of a second. Lopez, though, back there in third now, and he and Alfalla are the 2 drivers that have had consistent speed, it seems like, Austin, through this whole first segment. You'll find the 27 and the 40 in the top of just about every rundown for every one of the other 11 races that we've run, and Lopez on a consistent basis is one of the few that can go wheel to wheel with Alfalla and not flinch. It seemed like Busa would be the other. So I'm not surprised that these 3 are in the top 3 positions right now, though I think anytime you put Alfalla out front and give him clean air, he's so hard to get around.
Yeah, and I'm watching his line right now, and he seems to be running a little bit more conservative, as he's actually getting ran down by Matt Busa. He's losing a little bit, I think, more out of turn 4. He's a little higher in 3, and when he gets to 4, he can't crank it down the same as Matt Busa, but he may also be playing a little bit conservative game right here, as Lopez is also catching him. They're about catching him the same amount. I think that's exactly what he's doing, and you may think differently, but I think he's thinking about the long run. I think we're going to get a long run after all this, but you can see the 2 in front of you. We're riding along the number 40 of Jordy Lopez. You're going to see the 34. He goes in a little lower in the line than Ray Alfalla, and he's able to take the shorter route, which right now is the faster route, but maybe on later when we get some rubber down on the bottom, it may not be the faster route.
It may not be, and look at the run by Matt Busa. Battle for the lead on lap 33. Busa found the momentum off the exit of turn number 2. Pulls right even with the Alfalla Tech Ford. And now it's a 3-horse race in turns 3 and 4. Lopez is there, but Matt Busa gets loose off the exit of the corner, gives it up on the bottom of the racetrack, and we saw this exact same phenomenon. It's like watching Kyle Larson and Matt Kenseth all over again, Austin. This is unbelievable.
Well, I really feel he would have been able to complete the pass if he didn't actually put his left side tires on the apron, which is exactly what he did. He had a huge advantage, and he was trying to bite off a little more than he can chew on the racetrack. And Miles said, the monster said, you know, if you do that again, I'm sure you're going to go on the wall. I mean, he really stepped out into turn 4 there. I mean, you can tell he's much quicker than Ray Alfala. It appears, as you see Ray Alfala get a little wiggly up too. Even drivers like Ray Alfala can mess up just a little bit as he's trying a different line here, Matt Busa is, and that's allowing Jordi Lopez to get in the mix, right? You said it's a 3-way race right here, and I don't think this is going to be over anytime soon.
I don't believe so. If you're Matt Busa behind the wheel, what are you thinking right now, or what do you need to be doing, Austin, if you're going to get around that 27 for the lead? Because you've got to defend from behind, too. You can't let up. Jordi Lopez is right there.
You really have to get around him quick because everyone will be coming, like you said. But also, he's using his tires a little more, and the quicker he can get out front, the more he can use those tires the way he wants to as he gets a nose under him. And I think he's going to be able to complete the pass on the straightaway here this time. As you see Ray Alfala, he's getting a little loose. He's really wiggly off of 2. And I think Jordi Lopez is going to follow in suit. That's not good for Ray Alfala, but you know, seeing Jordi Lopez make it through there is, he may not get him on the front straight. He might be able to get him in the next corner. Actually, Ray Alfala seems to clear him here.
Yeah, Alfala going to drop back to second. So on lap 38, Matt Busa going to reassume the race lead. Jordi Lopez third, and look at Adam Benefield in the 4th position. That 83 Roll Speed Dynamics machine doing a nice job hanging tough. And Gilliland back there in 5th. None of this is over. We still got a long way to go, and I like the chances of any of your top 5 right now. Schoenberg's faded to 7th, though. I'm a little worried about him.
Yeah, he's been in 7th ever since the restart, and he's slowly gaining on the guys in front of him, but he's losing the leaders. He's about 2.5 seconds back here, 2.25 really this time by. But watching the race lead again, looks like Ray Alfala is really diving it into the corner on 1. Oh wow! Watching Ray Alfala get off of turn 4, that was something you don't see every day. He should have lost that car into the outside wall. What a save by him. He's going to lose a lot of time. As you see Jordi Lopez, he gained a little bit there, but that was wheelman experience right there for Ray Alfala.
Well, when you're a 2-time NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing champion, you tend to have that wheelman type experience, and the driver of that 27 has a lot of it. 41 laps in the record books here at the Monster Mile. 15 cars run on the lead lap right now. Paul Fugate being the last of those. We had 5 cars eliminated in a very early crash here at the Monster Mile that took place about on lap number 5 here, and we've had 2 total caution flags, the 1 multi-car incident and then a single car spin by the John Wilco number 62 machine. He rides in the 14th position right now, but up front it's Matt Busa, Ray Alfala, Jordi Lopez, and a good battle going for 3rd between Lopez and Adam Benefield. Benefield not ready to give up that position as they come back to the stripe and put 42 laps on the board. Benefield's pressuring, and you know, he's about the only driver of this group that hasn't won a race this season, Austin, and I've talked to him a couple of times. He wants to beat these guys worse than anything in this entire field. That's been his goal from day 1. He's getting closer and closer to it too.
I think he has the potential to get up there too. He's just got to really get in these for this track in particular, and to get that win really is to be just as smooth as possible. And you're really seeing that from him right now. I think he's got a little bit of an edge on Jordi Lopez in means of raw speed at the moment. I think he's using his tires a little more than the guys around him. As you're seeing everyone start to go a little lower in the track. I think they're following what Matt Busa is doing. He had used the bottom of the track, the very bottom of the track, to get around Ray Alfala. I think everyone behind him is kind of learning that whenever they're following. But the 2 right here, the 40 and the 83, every time the 83 gets to the 40, he dives into the corner just a little harder. I think we see that here. Every time he just dives it a little deeper, and I think that's really helping him get more speed currently. But in the long run, look for that 40 car to not be able to do that as much as Benefield's taking a more conservative line, pressuring the 40 of Jordi Lopez.
Of these front 5 guys, what are you seeing that you like right now from any or all of them, Austin? Because, I mean, everybody's trying a little bit of something different here.
I think I still like Matt Busa. He's definitely showing the way. He's actually taken a more higher line than he was earlier, contrary to what I was saying earlier. And I think it's working for him. He's saving tires, and I think he's faster than Ray Fowler currently. Ray Fowler does surge forward ahead a couple laps because I think he's definitely the most conservative, or not conservative, the most consistent of the top 5 that we have. But Matt Busa, I think, is taking the most preferred line, a little low into 3, a little high into the middle of the corner, and then back down low for 4.
So that's how it looks right now, with soon to be 50 laps complete here at Dover, and really everybody's kind of settled out single file. Nobody's put a whole lot of pressure on anybody, and these front 4 guys have been the class of the field, though nobody is really scrapping for position right now. So as Matt Busella, Lopez, Benefiel, and Gilliland with 48 laps complete will step away for a couple of moments and come back with more action from the Monster Mile right after this from Dover International Speedway. You're watching coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series here on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to iRacing Live and LSRTV. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, the ProGeek Consulting Kovacs 180. The Kovacs car runs second right now, courtesy of Matt Busa, but that means we've had a change for the lead while we were away at commercial. Ray Alfalla made a bonsai move in turns 3 and 4 to reclaim the top spot, Austin Coop, and boy, when he did, coming down the straightaway, Matt Busa had to choose between running into the side of the 27, running into the wall, or backing out of it. He chose the latter, and I'd say that was a pretty wise decision at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty wise not to take someone as reputable as Ray Alfalla out of the race, and it's also, you know, it's one of those live the fight another day kind of scenarios too, because, you know, he was able to take that car and put it back because he had no pressure behind him in that battle, as you see him actually hunting Ray Alfalla back down, which is a little odd. I thought that Ray Alfalla was conserving enough to actually pull away quite a bit, but not so much. Back in the field, or not back in the field, but back to 4th place is Brian Schoenberg. We talked earlier on that restart, started second, got all the way back to 8th or 7th place, and now he's back to 4th, hunting Adam Benefield down, and I think it will be a very short time before he's back in the 3rd and catching Matt Busa for 2nd.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Benefield has looked very good so far in this race, but he almost got a piece of the wall off of turn number 2, and Schoenberg, as you just alluded to, Austin, right on by. You know, Brian Schoenberg started off strong, faded, but I think he may have saved his tires the best of anybody on this run, because he's coming back to the front here late, and he is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. That 55 is flying.
Yeah, it seems with the iRacing new tire model, it almost seems like you have to run slow. There's not a good way to run medium speed and conserve tires. It's to run almost really slow, but as you see in the long run, it kind of makes sense to run as slow as he did, because he just got a 10th on Ray Alfalla, 2/10 on Matt Busa, and before you know it, he will probably catch Matt Busa and Ray Alfalla if this continues to go green, as it looks like we may be catching some light traffic up here towards the front.
Traffic can often play a factor. That is the 45 of Paul Fugate, who drops a lap in 15th position. Next car going to be John Wilco in the 62, who was our second caution of the race, back around lap 20 or between 20 and 25 there. So Wilco about 20, he's about 2 seconds away. Then look at this, Austin. Inside for P2 off turn number 4. Brian Schoenberg has come to play tonight. He is on the inside of Matt Busa, and he makes the pass stick in turn 2.
Yeah, he started second on that last restart. He started the grid on second, P2 really, and you know, he's one of the only guys where I've seen really use the apron to his advantage. Sometimes you can actually use that apron to push the right rear out a little and get an advantage if you feel your car is a little tight. Now I feel like whenever I drove the LSRTV Camry a little bit, it seemed like it was really loose off those corners, as we have seen all day with these cars. But you know, in the middle of the corner, you may be, I think these guys are getting a little tight, and so him using that apron is going to allow him to really push that car in the direction he wants to, as we see the lap traffic get in the way of Alfalla, and Brian Schoenberg, he gets 2/10 that lap, and I think that's more or less is Brian Schoenberg, not the lap car too.
Yeah, no, John Wilco was way out of the way. That was Schoenberg coming. Brian has come to play tonight. This is the best I've seen him in the Cup car all season long. On a single run, and at the rate he's going, he may well. I mean, this is shades of old. This is vintage Brian Schoenberg right here, running up to try and pass Ray Alfalla. He'll ream us for these later, Austin. But I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I've said that in about 2 years. It was back when he was still running the Pro Series, the last time that we would have said these two were battling on track on a consistent basis during a race. But this is shades of old right now between these two, and I'm loving this fight up front. Schoenberg is gonna catch him here in the next couple of laps. I'm telling you, we're gonna have a battle for the lead in a minute.
And you know, the weird thing is, I still feel watching him go into the corner that he's struggling a little bit with the handling on the car. So I think a lot of these drivers are. You know, with that being said, with a struggling car, he's catching Alfala. Now, when he comes into pit road and gets those new tires eventually, you know, that will be an immense push for him. And I think it's only going to be a matter of a couple laps before he gets to pass him if Ray Alfala doesn't let him go by. And, you know, we're at lap 71. We're getting close to about halfway, about 20 laps away. I feel that, you know, with that being said, I feel like Ray Alfala will probably put up a fight with Schoenberg. I don't know about you.
He wouldn't be Ray Alfala if he didn't put up a fight. But Ray is also very smart. He knows when to fight and when to let lie, and I think this is going to be one of those times. I think he knows Schoenberg's a little bit quicker right now. I think, yep, there he goes. He lays over just a little bit in the middle of turns 3 and 4 and lets Schoenberg go. New leader at lap number 72. Brian Schoenberg to the point in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. And I know those are words that man very much needs to hear and is loving to hear over his radio right now, Austin. This is a big moment for Brian to be back out in front. This series has basically been his baby ever since the announcement to revive this series has come about, you know, back 5 or 6 months ago. He has wanted to make a splash right here. He's doing it right now, and I think he pushed Ray a little harder than Ray wanted to be pushed. Look at this all of a sudden. Actually, no, I'll take that back. Justin Fuller, I think, has just come off pit road because he's blowing by way too quickly. Yeah, okay, fresh tires make a difference. That's the difference between fresh tires and 50-lap tires is what we're seeing. I saw the flash of yellow for a moment on the door and thought, all of a sudden, Boost has come back to play. No, not quite.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Brian Schoenberg,
to pit road,
I would really want to pit. Like, you see, if I saw that, I would want to be coming to pit road too. Of how great those tires are.
He barely made it to pit road speed in time. That was very. He was smoking the brakes, smoking the tires. It was close, I'll say that much. But Ray Alfala in Austin, and you got to believe, everybody green flag pit stops, 4 tires and fuel all the way.
Oh, that's no question. Schoenberg's coming in right now, I think. And Busa, and a couple other guys are tagging along too. We're going to see some of these guys. Paul Fugate's in. You know, we're going to see a lot of these guys. I think that the iRacing is going to be nice to Ray Alfala if he doesn't get a penalty, because he was at least at 40 miles an hour entering. And sometimes iRacing does give you leeway, sometimes it doesn't. It's like an inconsistent orange. You just don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, we see these guys pitting, and with as quick as he got onto pit road, and if he doesn't get a penalty, I'm sure he's going to be the leader again, because these guys were not as aggressive as he was.
No, they really weren't. And Brian Schoenberg down and away, everybody taking 4 fresh virtual Goodyear Racing Eagles. And look at this cycling through. And is that is Adam Benefiel actually got the edge, got the measure over Alfala on this run. I think he's actually going to cycle through as the new race leader.
That's really surprising. I think he had a really good pit stop, really good entrance to pit road. Looks like it's not going to last really long. He came at a few laps earlier than Ray Alfala, so that's going to be the difference in tires right now. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Ray Alfala is going to get him in the next couple corners, and but definitely I think a good break for Adam Benefiel to be up front of the projected lead right now. You know, for guys who run 5th, who run 4th, it's not a bad idea, because you may be able to go on pit road by yourself and have a huge advantage, as we see Ray Alfala definitely take the prospected lead away from Adam Benefiel.
Well, you know what? This is a good test for later in the race. How much time can you make up by doing that short pit strategy? And you may have to out-strategize the 27 if you want a shot at beating him, Austin. We know there's very few people on the racetrack that can beat him heads up on sheer speed. And oftentimes it comes down to strategy. We saw Jordi Lopez pull that off when he got his big win at Phoenix back in race 4 of this segment. He got the lead on strategy and then was able to hold it off over Ray Alfala before the big wreck that ended the race. So it's often that strategy is what kills this 27 machine. He'll go back to the point officially on lap number 80. So we are 10 laps away from the halfway point. Adam Benefiel is second. Jordi Lopez, we were just talking about him a moment ago, he's third. Brian Schoenberg goes from the race lead to P4 after pit stops. And Justin Fuller, we talked about him making up a ton of time on those fresh tires before the leaders pitted Austin. He's rolled his way up to the number 5 position right now. He was about 11th before pit stops, so that shows you just how big fresh tires are here.
Yeah, he's actually relegated to 6th that lap, but yeah, definitely a huge push for him because he started 6th and he got caught up in that accident, and you can see a little bit of damage on his rear end, but yeah, definitely a huge rally for him from what happened earlier on in the race, as he was really far back. However, that will not last a long time as he pitted extremely early. I mean, and when I say early, I mean, you saw how quick he got by those leaders, and as soon as those leaders saw what Justin Fuller did, they thought, I got to do that. That's how much speed I am losing. So I think a good call by a lot of these guys to pit whenever they saw that, because I think that was just the wise decision to do.
So with 84 laps going in the books, when they get back to the stripe, it's Alfala, Benefiel, Lopez, Schoenberg, and now Matt Busa in the top 5. The top 5 separated by 3.9 seconds here at Dover International Speedway. We're going to step away, but when we come back, we'll have your iRacing midway race break as we'll be halfway home in the ProGeek Consulting Kovacs 180. Right now from Dover International Speedway, you're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to Dover International Speedway coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series here on iRacing Live. And LSRTV is brought to you in part by ProGeek Consulting, the proud sponsor of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Since 1998, ProGeek Consulting has been providing IT solutions to small and mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis and St. Paul metro areas. Their strong work ethic and attention to detail allows them to provide the best solution for your needs. They specialize in a wide range of solutions, including infrastructure, networking, servers, storage, virtualization, security, virtual, CIO, and IT strategy needs. ProGeek Consulting, proud sponsor of the ASCORS Racing League. Right now, we are at the halfway point. We completed 90 of 180 laps this last time by, and that means it's time for our iRacing midway race break as we cross the halfway point of tonight's race. This midway race break is brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game, with professionally organized racing featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA sports cars, the V8 supercars, and much, much more. To do so, we're going to take a look right now at our full field rundown. Ray Alfala, as he's done 5 times this season, out in front looking for a victory. Jordy Lopez in the 40 rides in second with Adam Benefiel in third. Brian Schoenberg in the 55 is fourth, and Matt Busa is fifth. Bentley Glazer rides in the sixth position, and Justin Fuller is seventh. Chad Coleman is eighth. Matthew Moose ninth, and Adam Gilliland, after a strong start, has faded a little bit now. He rounds out the top 10.
Doy Woods making a better start, or making a better run than he started. He's on 18th, he's in 11th. Trey Edison, he's dropped back a whole lot from starting third, as he's been having a little bit of issues on the track. He's in 12th. Greg Spears is 13th. Paul Fugate's the first car a lap down, but he is 2 laps down. EJ Ulrich is going to be 15th. Sean Wilco is 17th. Tyler Dalton is 17th. Matthew Quick 18th. Matthew Chafe is going to be 19th. J.D. Laird is in 20th. He's parked his car for the night, and so is Jesse T. Kovacs and John Darlinski. He's in 89 laps down, 22nd.
I think Kovacs may have actually just recently returned to the racetrack, or is looking to return to the race. Would be good news for the driver who is sponsoring tonight's Kovacs 180 here at the Dover International Speedway. And in fact, though it looks like a modified, he has indeed just returned to the racing surface, albeit 87 laps down, and he's just trying to do what he can here, staying out of the way, trying to complete a few laps and at least pick up a couple of positions for those valuable points in the season-long championship. You see him in that 17, staying down on the apron. He's staying out of trouble, making sure that everybody else can run their race, and the fact that that he's not ruining anyone else's race, Austin, in the process. That's a veteran move, and it may net him a couple of positions before the end of this night. You never know.
Oh, I think he'll at least get 2 spots, maybe 3. Maybe 3 spots by the end of this, but either his car is so underpowered, or he's just being extremely considerate of the racing on track. As we go back to the lead, it's going to be Ray Arfala about 6/10 in front of Jordy Lopez, but that lead is going to be a little scrunched now, recording a little bit through this lap traffic, as he goes from 6/10 at that lap to about 4/10 this lap. So that's a huge difference. Lap traffic was definitely a factor in that one, and I think Jordy Lopez is going to probably try and get some momentum from that. Jacob, we're seeing a lot of lap traffic, and we're seeing a lot of momentum from the 40 car, but it is Ray Alfala. She's thrown him to take him out. Or not take him out, but take him off the lead is going to be really difficult. How do you think? What do you think these guys got to do in order to get up there and contend?
I'll answer that question in just a moment. We did just give you the full field rundown, and as such, this has been your iRacing Midway Race Break. And for more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today, where you can use the LSRTV promo code by entering PR-2016 LSRTV when you register for a new iRacing membership to get the late model free of charge, along with the 13 cars and 14 tracks included with a first-time subscription. iRacing, the world's premier online racing game and proud sponsor of tonight's Midway Race Break. Now, 101 laps going up on the board, and to answer your question, Austin, from a moment ago, I really don't know that there's anything anybody can do, because Ray is quite simply gone. He's 1 second now. He was half a second just a moment ago out in front of Jordy Lopez. It's like we snapped our fingers, and he's put half a second of padding on that lead with 78 laps to go. I just don't see that anybody's got anything for him right now. He was 2/10 quicker last time by compared to the 40 of Jordy Lopez, and he was the fastest car on the racetrack. When you've got a car that good, I mean, unless Ray makes a mistake, there's no way anybody else wins this race. I'm just being realistic. Every time he's gotten on a roll like this in the middle of the race this season, he's gone to victory lane. It's only been the races where he hasn't established like this through the midpoint of the race where they've been able to get to him. And this is looking like every one of those other 5 wins he's had this season, Austin, where he's just been able to drive off into the distance.
Yeah, extremely dominant performances, and I don't think we can say anything less of what this is. I mean, these are top-notch drivers that we're seeing here, and we're going to see Brian Schoenberg. He's gaining on him, but with the way he pitted, he did not pit as aggressive as Ray did, and he's 2 seconds back. He's gaining on him, but I don't think it's going to be quick enough. I think he's basically at this point one of the only drivers currently that is doing work on that time and making up ground. He's getting it about a tenth every lap, but I think by the time he does get to him, it's going to be time to pit again. And whether you pit early or pit late, I think he's got to pit early just to get that advantage and then try and make it stick at that point. But he already late pitted, so he's kind of committed to that. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we do see Brian Schoenberg side by side with Jordy Lopez Jr. He's going to take the inside, get a little bit on the apron a little bit, and probably drive away off of turn 2 here.
And I just actually heard, I didn't catch which driver said it over the radio, but I was scanning a couple of the driver channels, and actually Cisco said it down in the production trailer as well, almost word for word to what I just heard on the radio. Yep, the only one who can stop Ray Alfalla right now, Austin, is Miles. And that would be Miles the Monster, who affectionately eats cars here at Dover if they happen to make a mistake. So basically what we're saying is, unless Miles decides he's going to take a bite out of the Alfalla Tech Ford Fusion, there's nobody stopping that car tonight.
But it is possible. I mean, we've seen Ray get really out of whack a couple of times. He has hit the outside barrier once or twice, and he's also been extremely off these corners. I mean, I don't think it matters who you are. Miles doesn't care who you are, and Miles will decide, if it's his day or not. And so, definitely something to keep an eye on as we have about 80 laps to go or 70 laps to go this time by with Ray Alfalla when he crosses the start-finish line this time. But I really think there is one more player in this game, which is Brian Schoenberg. He just took 2 tenths off the lap before, 1 tenth that lap. As I said earlier, I just think the only thing that it will be a problem for Brian will be the fact that he long pitted that last time. And really, to make that strategy work, you have to continue long pitting.
Well, I was shocked, and I was going to make the point if you hadn't brought it up, Austin. Brian, 2 laps ago, took a quarter of a second off of Ray's lead to bring it down to about where it is right now. The gap is 1.6 seconds coming to 69 laps to go here, and Brian's the only one within shouting distance. Benefield's 3.2 back, Busa's 3.7 back. Jordy Lopez is now 18 seconds back of the leader. He's in jeopardy of going a lap down right here, and I'm going to have to scan the tape in a moment to see whether he pitted and just got back on the lead lap, or he's just fallen that far off. And he's pitting right now, so there's the answer to that. I guess ask and ye shall receive. The 40 is in, Austin, and this could be a big, actually, I guess just
it's on the backstretch now
as scoring cycles through. So we'll get caught up here. Jordy just leaving pit road, and this could set off the whole cycle. This may force everybody's hand right here, because Jordy was running in the top 4. I mean, if you're the leaders now, you've got to think about pitting now, or you're going to be giving up a ton of time.
And I think it was a bold but necessary strategy if you're going to want to win one of these races. I mean, it's so difficult to win some of these races with the field that we have. Brian Schoenberg, I'm just going to mention this real quick, and I'll get back to what I was just saying, just took 2 tenths off that lap. But going back to Jordy, he's the only thing I see bad with pitting that early is that he's got to deal with all these lap traffic guys. I mean, he is just serpentining everywhere on this track, and he will get his lap back if they continue to go. And I just have to think about when are these guys going to pit, these leaders, that is, because they will be caught up eventually. And they will. I think it will be a one-stop race the rest of the way for Jordy Lopez. And to think about it, the rest of the guys, they have to do it too. So that's definitely an interesting thing to think about. As Brian just took 2 more tenths off. Keep that in mind, guys.
Well, also keep in mind, Ray's in some pretty heavy slower traffic right now, working lap number 116. 64 to go. We're going to step away and go side by side here at the Dover International Speedway so that you don't miss a moment of the action. Right now, though, Ray Alfala leads Brian Schoenberg, Adam Benefiel, Matt Busa, and Matthew Moose here at the Monster Mile from Dover International Speedway. You're watching the Kovacs 180 for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to iRacing Live and LSRTV. Quickly coming back from the commercial that we just stepped away to because we are under our third caution flag of this event. Had some big smoke down in turn number 2. Go.
Yeah, it seems to be Justin Fuller got into contact with E.J. O'Rourke in turn number 2. They were fighting for 14th place out there, but it seemed like the
that
41...
was for position. I think that's the big thing to note
right.
here.
Yeah, and it wasn't just 2 lap cars fighting for space out there, but yeah, they were fighting for position. You know, they were a couple laps down, but you know, nothing I would say was anything in the wrong. Just 2 guys fighting hard for the spot. One got a little loose, got into the 51 of Justin Fuller, and he goes in the outside wall hard, and that blew up his engine, and he spun out, creating the caution.
Well, leaders are on pit road right now. That was a terrible break for Jordi Lopez in the 40, who was pinned a lap down. He's going to have to take the wave around right now if he wants to get back in contention to even have a chance at this victory. Ray Alfala easily going to win the race off pit road over Brian Schoenberg. But, you know, this is the caution that we were waiting for. Now, it's a whole new ball game for some of these guys. They have a chance to see how they measure up to Ray on fresh stuff and a clean slate. So with now a third of this race to go, nothing's decided here, I don't think, and that's what's going to be the key. We'll reset exactly how this is going to break down after this, but we're going to quickly finish out the commercial break that we came back from to bring you the news on this caution. From Dover International Speedway, you're watching iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Getting ready for another restart here in the Kovacs 180. Welcome back to iRacing Live and LSRTV. Jacob Seelman and Austin Coop in the broadcast booth as we're bringing you the final race of the opening segment for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series here in 2016. We restart with Ray Alfalla and Brian Schoenberg, two NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series veterans on the front row. The American Ethanol green flag goes back in the air, and we have 58 laps to go at the Monster Mile. Everybody on fresh tires, and it's time to put up or shut up, as they say, because it's go time. You got fresh tires, and Austin, you got to get the good out of them right now, because if you let Alfalla get too far away, you're not going to get back to him.
And I think that applies to everybody but Brian Schoenberg, because he definitely shows he can conserve and make it work. But you're totally right. These guys behind him, both these guys, they really need to figure out a way to get around their comrades of racing, and really just, as we see the 83 of Adam Benefield trying to get the inside of the 34 of Matt Busa, it's not going to work, as the outside, as we talked about earlier, is definitely the preferred line at this point, in a battle at least. If you're battling somebody, definitely the outside line is working. You know, this track really is kind of playing out like what happened in the actual race today, the NASCAR race, and that's an interesting thing, because most of these tracks don't actually do that. They don't actually kind of replicate that real life feeling. Tracks like Kansas don't actually do that like we saw last time. But yeah, this track is really trying to opening up the top line for passing.
Yeah, we're working now lap 126 here of 180, so 54 laps to go when we come back to the line, and this wave around is ultimately going to kill any chances. I'm looking back in the field. Jordy Lopez in 10th. Keep in mind, when you take the wave around, you got to start behind all the lap down cars as well, and Jordy trying to work his way through traffic. I mean, he started 4 seconds off the leaders. He's lost a second already just trying to get through to even do business with anybody on the same lap. So, you know, the wave around got him back on the lead lap, but it's going to slaughter any chances he has of winning this race unless he gets another caution here. But it would have to happen relatively quickly. Otherwise, that 40 has no chance.
Yeah, battle back up front with Matt Busa and Adam Benefield. We talked about how Busa is typically a longer run kind of car and guy, but it seems like Adam Benefield Brian Schoenberg is a long run kind of guy, and Matt Busa seems like he wants to take advantage of that and pass him out. He's looking to the inside. He's got the inside. I think that's going to stick for now as he moves up the track. He washed up just a little bit, but enough to let Brian Schoenberg know that he was there, and I think he just let him by for the time being.
Yeah, and you know, look at Schoenberg. I mean, you're starting to see where he's trying to save right now, because Busa's gotten around him. Adam Benefield is pressuring him now in that 83 for the third position. Benefield's less than a car length off. So, you know, the question is now, if you're Brian Schoenberg, is this the point in the race, Austin, where, you know, with when they pitted, we're pretty sure they're comfortable to go to the end on fuel. Is this the point in the race where, if you're Schoenberg, you need this race to go green all the way to the end if you want to be able to have a chance to run down Ray and win this race?
I think you can play it both ways if you're Schoenberg, because if it does go green all the way, you have the strategy to out-tire them, for lack of a better way to say it. But if it does happen to have a caution, I think Brian definitely has the ability to have the short run car. He just chooses not to, and I think a lot of the guys, as you've seen, can do that. I mean, he had a really fast qualifying time of a 23.24. He's well capable of running these really quick times. So I don't think so much. I think if it happens in the later run, like if we have less than 5 laps to go with a restart, I think more than likely he does not have the car. But I think right now he definitely has the long run car. And if it comes out in like the next 20-30 laps, I think he'll be pretty comfortable here. Oh,
caution! We really need to stop talking about these things.
I can't see where the caution is right now.
EJ O'Rourke, maybe. It's none of the lead lap cars from what I can tell.
Yeah, it's just kind of unexplainable at the moment.
Regardless of regardless of what it's for, we are back under the caution flag for what I believe is going to be the 5th time in this race now. Working lap 134, which is going to be 46 laps to go when we come back to the line. And look at this, Austin. Here they all come again. This is how important tires are in this race. And this helps Jordi Lopez, too. This gets him back in connection with the rest of the lead lap cars. This is big.
Yeah, think about a couple of the other lap down cars like Doy Woods and Greg Spears. They're all getting their lap back for the via wave around. I think Doy might actually, yeah, he's going to be able to get his via Lucky Dog. So look at that guy. He started 18th. He's going to probably be able to pick some of these guys off because he barely doesn't have that much damage on his car. So that's a guy to really give a shout out to for sure.
Everybody, oh, look at this.
Survey
says Ray, did Ray take 2 tires? He was not down there very long.
He took all 4.
Wow. 14.2 on the pit stop. That is lightning pit work, Austin. I mean, when I saw how quickly he was in and gone, I'm sitting there going, there's no way he only took 2 tires. And he took 4, but I mean, wow. That's the fastest pit stop we've seen of anybody tonight.
Tonight, and I think for the last couple of weeks, to be honest, I mean, that was a stellar pit stop, and it's all about how you get in and kind of what iRacing decides to do with your car. For sure. I mean, sometimes it is about how you get into your pit stall. If you're at an angle or anything like that, it is hard, or it's the iRacing typically gives you a slower time to replicate how your virtual pit crew would get around your car. But a car to really note right now is Adam Gilliland did make 2 spots on that, or 1 spot on pit road, and he has been one of those lurking kind of drivers tonight. He's been back. He's been into the front. Back to the front here, it seems. Early on, I commented how he had an extremely loose race car in the centers, and I was watching him during that last green flag run, and he has seemed to figure out the center of the corner. So definitely look for Adam Gilliland to do something for these leaders, because the top 4 have been here all night.
Yeah, they really have been, and I don't see that they're going to be disappearing anytime soon. Right now, with 136 laps going on the board, we have 44 to go. Is it go time yet, Austin, or are you anticipating another caution or 2 before we get done with this race?
I think for these guys, it's go time anytime we get a restart, but I do think there will be another caution looming in the distance, and I think these guys are going to get a little antsy, knowing that they're, when we get lots of restarts and if we have multiple jumbles of the cars, you're going to see the accordion effect when these guys get ready to go green again. And that's the most exciting part for me, at least, is seeing these restarts and seeing what these guys have. It hasn't been extremely competitive on these restarts, so I think really for a lot of these guys, it is time to go.
And how about a name that we haven't said a lot in this race? Trey Edson in the 1 has all of a sudden climbed his way back into the top 5 for the first time since about lap 30. He started 3rd, but he lost touch with the leaders really quickly, and we haven't really said his name all night. He's back in contention in this race, as is Adam Gilliland. Look at the 8. Where did he come from as we get set for this restart, Austin? I mean, Gilliland's still got a shot at this.
Yeah, Gilliland and Edson, they both were at least 1 lap down. I don't remember if they were 2 laps down at any point, but with all these cautions, has definitely got some of these guys back up to the front, and really, they have a chance to crack some of these guys' hopes of winning the race.
We'll see what happens. The pace car is on pit road once again. 43 laps to go. Ray Alfala, Matt Busa on the front row. Busa with a very slow start, stacks up the outside lane. American Ethanol, green flag flies again. It's go time, trying to go 3 wide in turns 1 and you. Adam Benefield was the man trying to make it happen. Almost squeezed Trey Edson into the middle of the racetrack. No dice there. Side by side for second.
Contact.
Schoenberg in 3.
We had contact back in the field with Trey Edson. He's trying to fend off his 5th place. He was blocked by Adam Gilliland in turn 1 as Adam Gilliland made a huge mistake. He was the one who took 2 tires and he spun him just a little bit on that restart. And he tried to block Trey Edison, and he didn't just try. He definitely blocked him into getting in the corner. That got him and his car pretty upset, but he's coming right back on, coming right back up to that number 8 car pretty soon. I'll watching these two go to battle here soon will be kind of interesting based on those actions earlier.
Oh, one car around into the wall and somehow saves it. I didn't get a good look at the number, but there, no. There it goes. EJ O'Rourke, caution flag flies. I got to run the tape back because that EJ was collateral at that point. I got to run back and see exactly. It was the 36 of Bentley Glazer who was the car that almost destroyed it in turn number 2, saved it. EJ was coming up on him and tried to squeeze the middle, and it just didn't work, and he lost it at the beginning of the back straightaway. So that's a caution flag with 40 laps to go in a kind of a chain reaction deal that, man, I don't know how you can't really pin fault on anybody for that, Austin. That was just a terrible set of circumstances.
Yeah, I think that's a combination of Greg Spears not knowing that EJ was coming at such a quick rate because he was already down on the apron trying to just avoid contact. He was trying to be a safe driver, and Miles typically slams these cars up at the wall and then slams them right back down the inside. So he's just trying to be precautious, and he was so precautious that he had to come back up the track at some point, and then EJ just really had no place to go except the middle. And well, when you have to decide an extreme precise way to go at this track, sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's exactly what happened.
Leaders are back on pit road again. I mean, you got to wonder how many more times we keep doing this. 38 laps to go in this race. Yet two tires for Matt Busa and Brian Schoenberg. Did I not say 40 laps ago that if you were going to win this race and take it away from Alfala, you were going to have to out-strategize him?
Yeah, you definitely did. And I don't think Jordi Lopez even stopped. So we have 3 cars in front of Ray Alfala with a different tire strategy than him. He'll be starting on the outside row of row 2. Do you think that's enough to stop Ray Alfala? I know these guys with 2 tires. We saw what 4 tires after I think it was 40, maybe 50 laps of racing does to these tires and how much speed you scrub off. Me personally, I think this is a gutsy call since we're so far out of it, and they're going to probably, I think these guys are going to lose more than just spots to Ray Alfala.
It's going to be interesting to see, isn't it? We're going to slide in one more commercial break here from Dover International Speedway. When we come back, we're bringing you all the way to the finish at the Monster Mile. Fasten your seatbelts because this one's about to get good. Jordi Lopez, your leader, Matt Busa, Brian Schoenberg, Alfala, and Gilliland, the top 5, as we'll continue onward right after this here on LSRTV. Welcome back to Dover International Speedway. Hopefully, we can run some green flag laps and get you all the way to the finish here in the Kovacs 180. Jordy Lopez and Matt Busa on the front row for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Jacob Seelman and Austin Koop in the broadcast booth as we get set to go. And Austin said before we went away to break that he gets the feeling that Miles is a little bit hungry right now. I have a weird feeling that he may be right, and we may not have seen the end of the calamity here at the Monster Mile. The pace car is gone. We have 36 laps to go. Jordy Lopez has control of the field, and for the first time all night, Brian Schoenberg has a chance to get in front of Ray Alfalla. He will do so easily. Matt Busa stacks up the field. Schoenberg out and away. Alfalla pinned up high in turn one.
Yeah, Schoenberg. Lopez actually stacked up the field a little bit because he went later than any time that Alfalla went. But as you're seeing, Schoenberg
for the lead
is on the bottom for the lead. There he goes, and I think he's not gonna be able to clear him on the front straightaway. Yes, he did. He did. He made it work. And Matt Boots is gonna be right behind him. And look at Adam Gilliland. He got around Ray Alfalla. This is shaping up to be nothing that we were really expecting.
Strategy is the one thing that can kill that 27 late in the race. I've said it all along. I'm saying it here again. Look at this. 2 wide, maybe 3 wide Adam Benefield. He thought about it for a moment. Now Alfalla finally clear of Jordy Lopez, but he's in 4th. Brian Schoenberg is the leader of this race. Busa, Gilliland, and Alfalla run 2, 3, and 4. And for Schoenberg, how long can you hold the rest of the hounds off? He's got 4 tires, but so do several of the guys behind him. That's the key, Austin. He doesn't want to burn up everything he's got now and risk getting passed.
Well, actually, Schoenberg and Busa, I think they only took 2 tires on that stop, as opposed to Gilliland and Alfalla.
That's right.
Yeah, and I stand corrected. Yeah, they actually have 2 tires. So, we talked about it a little bit, how these strategies might unfold, and it seems like those 2 tires for the 2 guys up front is not a bad idea, since we only ran a few laps under green. But it looks like Busa is getting really close as we go on board with it. He's getting really, really close. He's going to try the outside. He's going to try the Kyle Larson approach to this kind of situation, but it's not going to hold out really at the moment. But look behind him. They're fighting so hard that the other guys are able to catch him, and he cuts him down. Oh my gosh. What a move. He's on the inside, but I don't think it's going to stick. It's not. He's going to clear him.
He's still got the fender there. I think he can make... No! Wow! Man, the problem is the longer Schoenberg holds these guys up, the more the 4-tire guys are going to be able to get ready and set them up to win this race. Look at Alfalla goes to the inside of Gilliland for 3rd. Man,
yeah, he's pushing him up. The arrow pushed him up the track there a little bit, and Alfalla's going to probably reclaim 3rd here. And that's a really good thing for him, because the 2 in front of him have 2 tires. And Benefield almost tried it as well. It looks like Adam Gilliland decided, hey, I'm going to cut you down because I want to try and get back past Ray Alfalla the hard way, as he did earlier. But back up front, we're still seeing a little bit of fighting between Busa and Schoenberg, which is not good for either of them, as we're seeing the gap actually close pretty dang quick, guys.
Oh, man. And wow, Matthew Moose was just way loose on the top side of the racetrack. Gave up a position to Jordy Lopez, I think, right here. And, these 2-tire guys have got to be getting a little bit nervous right now. I'm sure they would love to see a few more cautions burn away as many laps as they can, because if this goes green to the end, Austin, I don't see any way those tires are going to hold up.
Yeah, the left sides were only about 6, maybe 7, maybe 8 laps old, if I remember correctly, and you can see what that is doing. It's really affecting their run off the corners, not into the corner. You can see that the right side is really good on the entrance, but on the exit, you're going to see Alfalla really be able to surge harder than they can, at least for the time, or at least not right now maybe, but here in about 15 laps or so, it's not going to matter. He's going to be able to save those left tires way better than they can at the moment. And Busa's making a little bit of a charge for Schoenberg's back bumper here. He's not going to take it just now, but he's going to soon. I mean, he looks like he has a stronger car than Schoenberg right now, and I don't think I would have said that 20 laps ago.
No, I wouldn't have even said it 15 laps ago. I mean, Schoenberg has looked like that he's had the second best car to Ray Alfala all night long. He's doing a great job of holding everybody up. I mean, he's doing the best he can to stall out that run that these guys could get off the corner, and that's what's preventing them from being able to get to him down the straightaways. He's backing up the corner, doing exactly what he needs to do to keep them from just completely hauling around the inside of him. It's smart right now, but eventually these guys with 4 tires are going to get tired of it. They may just decide to move you.
Yeah, they're going to use the chrome horn that they have up there, the good old front bumper, and a lot of them don't have any damage. So, to see that would be a change of pace for, we haven't seen hardly any bump and runs as we see Matt Busa have a little bit of connection issue. He's back. That's something to note, though, too, because, if Ray Alfala starts getting close to that back bumper and he starts having connection issues, that could be detrimental to both of them if it's just at the wrong time. As Ray Alfala looks like, look at the bottom, and he does. He's gonna look. I don't think he's gonna be able to stick it. Let's see what he can do on the corner. It looks like he's gonna be right there with them out of 2.
Yeah, he got the run there, and this is not what Brian Schoenberg. Wow, look how deep Busa drives it into the corner, though. It washes him up the racetrack. Alfala gonna be able to make the pass by the time they get back to turns 1 and 2. This
He's
is not
still
what
trying
Brian.
hard.
I mean, he's staying with him on the outside, though, for the moment. That's allowing Schoenberg to get a little bit of a gap.
That's exactly what they're doing, and the guys behind them are catching up too. This is perfect for Schoenberg because that means that Ray Alfala is going to wear off the left side tires more. It looks like he's going to be the clear now, though, and I think it's
he about took the nose off Busa there.
Right. I think it's a done deal for Matt Busa right now, but he's got to worry about the guys behind him. He's got to start playing some. He says he still has to play defense. He can't play offense right now. He doesn't have the tires for it. As we see Benefield go on the inside of Adam Gillen. Both Adams, sorry, got him a little mixed up there for a second. But it's the Adam and Adam show for 4. They get really close off of 4.
All right, our ProGeek Consulting 20 to go right here. Of these guys, these front 6. Austin, if you have to pick one to win this race right now, who are you going with and why?
Oh, I can't choose between Schoenberg and Alfala because I think I'd have to go with Alfala just because of his record, but you got to think about Schoenberg and how he's been really just muscling the track with only those 2 right side tires. He's losing speed, but that doesn't mean he's going to lose the battle because he can still protect the bottom pretty hard. He did lose about a 1/10 that lap, so I mean it is coming down to the wire for him, but it's not over till it's over, and I'm not going to say it's over because it isn't, but it is starting to, the clock is ticking for Schoenberg and Alfala because Alfala needs to make the move quickly.
I can promise you Schoenberg would rather take that car home in a matchbox than have Ray Alfala beat him the way Ray Alfala has beaten everybody else this season, because it's a matter of pride, especially for Schoenberg. He hasn't won one of these Cup races. He wants to fly the banner for this series more than anything else. He's not been able to do it through 11 races. This is his last shot in segment 1. He knows he's got a car that can win this race. He's got to hold off the best ever behind him, though, and both of their records speak for themselves. I couldn't pick against him either, but you know what? I'm going to pick Schoenberg based solely on heart. I think he may have enough willpower, kind of like Matt Kenseth did earlier today, to hold him off and win this race on 2 tires like Kenseth did.
Yeah, I think he's going to need a little help, though, at this rate. I mean, Ray Alfala is all over him. I mean, no matter how much you can try and push a car, sometimes you can't push the fact that you don't have the advantage of tires. But he's doing a great job at the moment. It does seem that Ray is just trying to find the opportune moment to get around him, and it's probably going to be out of 4. Yeah, out of 2 is a little trickier. You don't have as much speed as you do out of 4, even though they're very similar. But it looks like Brian Schoenberg is maybe just keeping him just at the. Yeah, I think Ray is just waiting, just maybe a little bit, trying to let those tires just to cool off a little bit, and then take a strike whenever it's least expected, really.
Oh boy, 14 laps to go. The gap's still 1/10 of a second. It's 8 car lengths back to Matt Busa in 3rd, who's done a remarkable job holding that position.
Ray
Everybody
put it in the wall
behind
right there.
him has kind of burned their tires off, and Brian may be running this just hard enough that it's actually burning Ray's tires enough that it's kind of equalizing them out here, because I don't see anywhere on the track now, Austin, where Ray has a defined advantage over that 55.
No, and he's really trying to find every advantage he can. He's trying to scoop it up high. There he goes for the high side, and he's going to be able to dart it down into 4, but he didn't really execute it as well as you typically see out of Ray Alfala. As we're going to see lap traffic get in the way. He's going to, we're going to go 3 wide almost. That could have gotten bad.
That was a golden opportunity, and Ray just didn't have the momentum to stick it through the middle, but it killed Schoenberg's corner exit. Battle for the lead in turn number 3. Schoenberg on the top side, Alfala on the bottom. Who's it going to be off turn number 4? The champ's got the preferred lane. Schoenberg at the line holds him by 7/1000ths of a second. He's trying to make the high lane work, but Alfala may have a little bit more in turn 2.
But look, he has the momentum. Schoenberg has the momentum, and that's nothing to boot. But, as much as these guys fight, look behind him. Look at Matt Musa. He is closing in, and I think, like you said, Schoenberg has more heart. And you see Ray Alfala lose it just a little bit. Just a little bit, and he's still going to have the nose in on him. But look, just look behind him. That is not good for either of them, because they have been saving. They have been saving it.
Oh my God, just like Kenseth earlier, Schoenberg willed it back by, and where did Matt Busa come from? It's a 4-horse race at the front of the field. 9 laps to go in Dover. Schoenberg leads it clear again, but look at this party. Busa's there, Benefield's there, they're back in turn 2.
And Busa's quicker. Busa is definitely quicker than Alfala, and you know what? I will do what any other driver would do, and maybe wait for him to try and make a move and then move in for the kill, because you can't, if you try and go against Ray Alfala right now, you're going to lose momentum for yourself and Alfala. So wait for him to make the move on Brian, then take advantage of that, because then he has the tires, I think, and he's going to be able to really make the move. He's got to wait for a good opportunity though.
Did Ray use up everything he had left trying to make that move when it didn't work? Is it possible?
He is trying the outside.
Oh man, look at that run.
Oh man.
He almost had him. He almost had it to the quarter panel there.
Yeah, he looked like if he would have been able to stick that might have been the end. He could have stick a fork in it.
Here he comes again. Same move in 3 and 4. Nothing there. He tries to diamond the corner. Get the run. 6 laps to go this time by. It's a 2-horse race again. Alfala gives him a shot in turn 1.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to get him a little loose off the corner, off of 2. That's where, a lot of people get loose and can lose some position, but it's not working. It's really not. And I think he's going to have to muscle his way around him to win. And I don't know if Ray Alfala is really going to do that. But he may do it. It's just 5 laps to go here this time, and it'll be 4 this coming time. But definitely interesting. It is a 4-horse race. Don't count the other 2 out at this point.
You know what? If I'm Matt Busa, I'm almost hoping that these 2 wreck trying to win this race, and I can capitalize. But with 4 laps to go, anything happens, and this race is over. Alfala is there in turn 1. He gives him another shot. That's the second warning tap right there in turns 1 and 2. 3 laps to go when they come back to the line. How long do you wait?
I think that Adam Benefield is going to be out of this little race here. He's pushing his car really hard in those corners, but he's just pushing way too hard and washing up. But look at Ray Alfala. He gets loose off the corner. He's going to try and dive it. He's going to dive it in. But I think he's going to dive it in way too hard for Schoenberg, but he's sticking it. It's stuck.
Oh, man, are you kidding me? Back straight away. Schoenberg hits the fence. Alfala, he slams the door on him. Double popsicle sticks this time. 2 to go.
Oh, man, are you kidding me? At this point in the race, I thought we'd seen it all.
No, we ain't even gotten close yet.
But don't forget Busa. He's right there, too. And he's closer to Ray Alfala than Alfala is to Schoenberg, and that's the first time all night that I've ever said that in the last 20 laps.
Here we go. All right, Austin, game on. Now we're coming to the white flag. You got to put it all on the line right here.
Can I close my eyes?
No. Turn 1 for the final time. Alfala's got 2 shots at it. He can't make it happen in turns 1 and 2. He falls back a car length. That may be the deficit that Brian Schoenberg needs. One last shot at it in turn 3. He dives it in deep to the outside, but he's not going to have enough. Busa gets there, and Brian Schoenberg off turn 4. Finally going to win in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Schoenberg on 2 tires holds him off for 35 laps to win this race. He takes the Kovacs 180 for his first ProGeek Cup victory.
Oh, man.
Have you ever?
And you know, Matt Busa gave it his all to try and take third away too. I mean, he almost hit the inside wall. He got so loose. That was an amazing effort by both Matt Busa and Ray Alfala to get that, but I think an even more impressive run by Schoenberg. And you know what? I think I had to stand corrected because you said Hart would win the race, and I thought the 2 tires couldn't win the race, but combination of tires and Hart, I think, really won this one for him. So congratulations to Brian Schoenberg.
It's the exact same thing as we saw earlier today.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. And you know what? This is an emphatic victory celebration. It's long overdue as well. He's the league owner. He has a right to do whatever he wants at this point. Burn it down. Brian Schoenberg, a winner at Dover in the most unbelievable of fashions. We're going to take a break while this man celebrates, and when we come back, we'll hear from him and a whole lot more. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series on iRacing Live and LSRTV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the post-race show for the Kovacs 180 here tonight at Dover International Speedway for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Jacob Seelman, Austin Coop getting ready to head trackside to talk with our podium, which includes our race winner tonight and our champion. But first, we'll take a look at our iRacing full field rundown. Brian Schoenberg wills that car to victory lane tonight, picks it off over Ray Alfalla for his first win of the season. Matt Busa is third, Adam Benefiel fourth, and fifth to Adam Gilliland. Jordy Lopez was sixth, Trey Edson was seventh, Doy Woods eighth, Matthew Moose ninth, and Bentley Glazer rounds out the top 10.
Chad Coleman finishes out 11th, Greg Spears 12th, John Wilco finishes 13th, EJ Aruk finishes 14th, Paul Fugate 15th, Justin Fuller 16th, Matthew Quick 17th, Tyler Dalton 18th, Jesse Kovacs 19th, JD Laird 20th, Matthew Chafe and 21st, and John Gorlinski finishes at 22nd, being involved in that early caution.
That's a look at your iRacing full field rundown, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game, carrying professionally organized racing featuring the cars of NASCAR, IndyCar, the IMSA sports cars, the V8 supercars, and much, much more. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today, where you can use the LSRTV promo code by entering PR-2016 LSRTV when you register for a new iRacing membership to get the late model free of charge, along with the 13 cars and 14 tracks included with a first-time subscription. iRacing, the official sim racing partner of NASCAR. As we kick off the post-race show, I'm going to throw it trackside, where Austin Coop, you've caught up with tonight's third-place finisher, picked off a win at Martinsville, but Matt Busa could not get another one tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, he led quite a few laps in the beginning stages of the race, but after pit cycles and a couple cautions happened, he found himself in third place, but he didn't give it. He gave it his all on that last run. Matt Busa, I'm standing with you right here. Give us a little bit of a rundown of what happened those last 5 laps, because we were holding our breath, wondering what was going to happen as you definitely dove it in turn 3 in that last lap. Give us what was going on through the windshield of your eyes.
Yeah, sitting in third, honestly, I was hoping for Ray to get by on the bumper there, and maybe I could sneak on by, but I knew my tires weren't as good as theirs. I drove it pretty hard at the beginning of that run to try to get the lead, and I think I killed them, and that combined with having a little less fuel, I didn't take fuel when I took 2 tires, and that hurt me in the center, it felt like. But yeah, then in the last corner there, I knew Ray would go high to try to make something happen, so I shot it low and didn't quite make it, but held on to third at least.
Now, with that final caution coming out, about 40 laps to go, I think we started with 35 laps to go and the green flag eventually ran, but you and Schoenberg both took 2 tires, and you were the only 2 who took 2 tires. Talk to me about how that strategy started to unfold for you.
Yeah, originally I earlier in the race too, and it worked out, and I was doing it mainly just for handling on the car. Since it's fixed setup, we don't really have many adjustments we can make. We don't have any adjustments we can make. So I thought 2 tires might loosen me up in the center, because the setup was fairly tight in the center. And I don't know why I didn't put fuel in it, but that just made it way too tight, taking no fuel there. Still sort of worked out getting a top 3, so I'll take it.
Yeah, you still get third place. It's not something to boot for sure. Who makes it all work out for you here? We know we have Kovacs on board with you, but anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, big thanks to Jesse Kovacs and Kovacs Financial Group for being on the car today and for sponsoring the race. That was a beautiful scheme to run. And also give a shout out to Gale Force Racing and the work we do on the MPES side of things, and Schoenberg for hosting this league. It was a really fun season. Looking forward to the second segment here. And also to you guys for broadcasting the entire season.
Well, that is a very good run from the Matt Busa machine. The Kovacs Chevrolet SS coming up in third place. And I do believe that Jacob has got a hold of our winner actually in victory lane. That's going to be Brian Schoenberg.
I'll say this much. I don't know that calm is going to be a statement used in this segment of the Winner's Circle all night long. Brian Schoenberg kicking off the celebration, my friend. Unbelievable drive. Talk me through the last 30 laps because you put Matt Kenseth to shame, my friend. That was unreal.
Woo! I don't know what to say, Jacob. I mean, we had a very, very, very good car on the long runs. When we were all on 4 tires earlier in the race, I would save the heck out of the tires, and it would go on the long run, and it felt so cool to be in here and race against people like, Matt Busa and Ray Alfala. I mean, it's been a couple years since I've been actually able to go door to door with them. Granted, we're on the same setup and everything like that, but it was a thrill and something I'm not going to forget for a long time there. We did 2 tires on that last pit stop to get a little bit of track position there, and the car wasn't driving quite as good as it was before. It wouldn't turn quite as good in the center, I'm assuming because I had older left side tires. And that was making me even looser off the corner because I was having a little bit more wheel into it there. And my goodness, I didn't know how long I could hold on. I was trying to drive the car just hard enough to stay ahead of Ray and Busa while not killing the tires. And they wanted to go, and my car didn't want to go. And it was hard. I mean, I was driving the living hell out of it there at the end. You could probably see it. And there's a couple times Ray got under me, and I overdrove the corner a little bit. And I slid the tires, like my car had yaw on it, and with these cars, you can't have yaw on it anymore. And there's smoke coming off the tires, I was sideways, and I was trying not to pinch Ray too much, but I know he had no grip under me. So I was cutting off his exit to the corner, and he was nice enough and great enough to keep his car off me, and he raced me super, super clean. And I was able to cut him off just enough times to clear him when he got under me, and we just held on from there. And the last couple laps, the car started coming back to me a little bit, but boy, it was a mess to drive, but my God, it was fun.
Oh man, I mean, what was going through your mind the last 5 laps, and even back to, I think it was 7 to go when Ray got under you the last time, and we all thought that was it, and he got loose off the exit of turn 2 real bad, and that was the difference for you to be able to get back by him and hold him off from there. But what was going through your head that last handful of laps when he's trying everything to get by you?
Oh, I totally thought the same thing as you guys were thinking. I thought it was over too. And I just thought in my head, when was the last time I've been able to race Ray Alfala and Matt Busa and beat them both in the same race? And I said, I can't lose this race. I absolutely can't lose this. I'm an old washed-up peak driver, and I just wanted to tell myself and show myself a little bit that I can still do it every now and again, and that just meant the world to me to be able to race them because they're basically as good as it gets on this sim in general. So to go toe-to-toe with them, even if I lost to them, would have felt great, but to actually come out on top ahead of them just it meant the world to me because I was never able to win a peak race back in the day, and I'm not saying this would replace anything like that, but I find a little bit of peace and knowing I could race them tonight at one of my favorite tracks, Dover, and it just it really made me feel good because I've been getting down quite a bit lately when I've been behind the wheel and everything, and just to win this race just it meant more to me than most people will ever know, including them. So just to have them race here and be able to compete with them just meant a lot to me because I don't get that chance to race against them too much anymore, and there's times when I really regret I took that opportunity away from myself that I can't race with them on Tuesdays, but you never know what's next in the world, what's in place for all of us. Maybe I can do it again someday, but tonight it just felt freaking amazing to race with them and be so good on the long run and just have a car that drove like that. I mean, I was literally sweating, driving the hell out of it, doing whatever I could to stay ahead of them there, and it was so exciting for me. It really was.
Well, you've got another duty here to perform in a minute because we've got to award this Segment 1 championship to the guy you beat. But before we get to that, Brian, I know you've been the hallmark behind making this deal go since you guys announced it was happening back November, December of last year. Are there any thank yous that you need to give after a night like this?
Yeah, totally, Jacob. I mean, it's been a great thing that we've done here, bringing this league back. It's had, its ups and downs, and even tonight it had its ups and downs. I was a little bit disappointed with the turnout we had, but I was also thankful for everyone that showed up, and then to run a race like we ran, which was so exciting, at least for me and those guys up front. It made it all worth it to me. So I just I hope with segment 2 starting here, we can get our car count up and we can get some more peak drivers and some other people out there. If you guys are watching, come join the league. We're gonna open up signups tomorrow to basically anybody out there that wants to run. Especially in this series, we have an approval process which could be explained by registering on our forums. But really, I just want to thank Matt Salo and ProGeek Consulting. They're the one that fund this and get us on LSRTV with you guys. I want to thank Michael Main with Main Performance VC. I want to thank Garrett Smithley Racing, and SegPay for getting our truck series, which is an absolute awesome series on TV every week with you guys at LSRTV. And I want to thank you guys at LSRTV for putting on these broadcasts every week. It's a thrill, and it's something that I didn't think a year ago we would ever be able to do. We always threw it around for years saying, oh, we should bring the league back, but we thought, well, it can never survive. These days you got the Peak Series and you got so many leagues out there in the hosted session area of iRacing and everything. But hopefully we can continue to grow this and keep it going. And also I want to thank our series directors as well. JD Laird for helping me run the league. I want to thank Joshua Geyer for being there for the cup races so far this season. Thank Adam Gilliland for the GN series, and Dan Lyon for the truck series. And just thank everybody for just taking time out of their night to join us here on LSR TV for the race. And, in last week's broadcast, we had the absolute worst interview ever with Ray and everything. So this interview went really good. I'm happy with that. And hopefully we can get Ray here in a second and do a better job with that.
We're going to make it happen right now, as a matter of fact, as the champion has joined us in Victory Lane. It's not a full season yet, but Ray Alfala about to be honored by Brian and the rest of this ASCORS group. You win the Segment 1 championship, Ray, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But I want to turn the mic over to Brian just real briefly to say a few words and officially crown you the Segment 1 champ.
Thanks, Jacob. Well, Ray, this didn't work out too good last week, so let's try this again. I wanted to congratulate you on being the Segment 1 champion for the ASCORS ProGeek Cup Series. You obviously had one heck of a season, and I had one hell of a time there battling you for the lead there, but we wanted to thank you and everybody on your team and whatnot for showing up every week and supporting the league and doing a great job, obviously, on the racetrack competing and being such a good contributor to the league. And you obviously advertise every week when you run in the series and everything. So really wanted to thank you for being a part of this league and say congratulations to you.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, we had Jacob. Yeah, we had a great race for the lead. Basically, Brian and I, and then also Matt Busso was there, and we were kind of trading spots, I guess you could say, all throughout the race. Matt would be really, really fast, kind of to get off, and then I'd be kind of fast in the middle of the run, and then Brian would just kind of blow by everybody at the end of the run. So we had green flag stops. The race had a little bit of everything, and then at the end, Matt and Brian took 2 tires, and I took 4, and then we restarted kind of a little bit farther back, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do anything with Brian. And when I got under him, I thought I had it won once I got under him. I didn't think he could hang on the high side, but well, I was wrong about that because I didn't do a good enough job, and then kind of got out of shape a few times coming out the corner and couldn't get it done. But it was a lot of fun and very, very, very intense racing at the end.
What was the difference from the driver's seat on the bottom? I mean, I know once the track finally rubbered in, we saw it happen kind of like it did in the Cup race earlier today, where the top lane was really the place to be. Was there just not quite enough power down on the bottom of the bank in there to be able to get it done and completely clear him?
Yeah, I mean, this track is, it's treacherous enough just by yourself. So when you have to exit the corner under a car, it's just don't have enough room basically, and I didn't want to just go up and hit him. So, you might be able to go into the corner and maybe rub doors at a place at a short track, or a place like New Hampshire or something like that. But not here, because you'll probably wreck. So, looking at the replay, I could have maybe been a little more aggressive. But I mean, it was still a really really fun race, and a really fun segment, and I can't wait to get started on the next one.
I know what the racer's philosophy is. I mean, I've spoken with both of you guys countless times before, but I got to ask you, Ray, with as much fun as that looked like from our standpoint in the broadcast booth, when you can have a race like that, is there really much shame in finishing second when you guys can go door to door and just race it as clean as you guys did in the final laps of that race tonight?
No, there really isn't, and Brian's really good. He's been in. I mean, he's been one of the top names in sim racing for over 10 years now, going back to ASCORS. So, and then all the experience he has in the Peak series. So, and Busa as well. He's one of the top drivers there. So I knew I was racing against people I could trust. So it was, you want to come home with the win, but once you start looking at the whole picture and how fun it was to drive it, it's okay to finish second a lot of times.
Both of you, an incredible job tonight. Ray, before we let you head out of here, any sponsors and shout outs you need to give?
Yeah, we'll be running the Falatech All-Star Race, I believe, here on LSRTV on Wednesday night, on the 18th. And we'll basically have a showdown and an All-Star Race. So tune into that. So yeah, falatech.com if you're looking for a gaming computer. StemSimX, Snowcone Productions, Windows Scrap Foundation. And again, thanks Brian and everyone at ASCORS for putting this together. We saw the attendance go a little bit lower there at the end. I think it's just because people kind of were out of the points and whatnot. But we saw a good 43 car field for the first 7 or 8 races this year, and the season, and I expect that here in the following segment. So if you're wondering whether you should join ASCORS or not, for sure, it's a lot of fun, and it's a fixed setup, so you don't have to worry about making tweaks to the car.
Both of you guys, tremendous job. 1-2, Brian, again, congratulations on the win tonight. And hopefully we see both of you guys here when we kick off segment 2 here in about a week.
Yep, we'll be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacob.
All right, Austin Coop, I want to throw it upstairs to you real quick. Any final thoughts before we put a bow on this night? Unbelievable race we saw.
Yeah, it really started to heat it up those last 20 laps, and it was definitely one to stay up for. Definitely. I think what we saw tonight was definitely a more passion over skill. I think we've all know the ability of Fala, but I think, as you said before, he actually won, but the heart might actually win. And I think one of the few times that we've seen it in, at least in my broadcasting experience at that time today, that was what won the race. And it's a really cool thing to see, and a really special win for Brian Schoenberg tonight, as he voiced, and I couldn't say it better than him.
Tremendous run by all of these guys. And before we cut it out tonight, Brian, again, just want to say thank you for allowing us to showcase this brand of racing here through this first segment, and hopeful to have the opportunity to continue this through the rest of the year, because if I know you guys are just getting started here. But as we get set to rock and roll, say goodnight here from the Dover International Speedway. Again, congratulations to Brian on the victory, and as well as to segment 1 championship. So before we go off, again, as Brian said, thanks to ProGeek Consulting for sponsoring this series that you see here at 9 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night on iRacing Live and LSRTV. And right now, for Austin Coop, my broadcast colleague in the booth tonight, Cisco Scaramuza down in the production trailer, as well as the administrative staff, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, and the rest of our LSRTV broadcast crew away from the microphones tonight, I'm Jacob Seelman, reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again. And hey, we'll see you next time right here on the web. Brian Schoenberg, your winner in Dover. We are back next time, and we'll see you here tomorrow night on LSRTV for the next round of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. Good night and so long from the Monster Mile.